Thank you, Gurvinder. So, good afternoon, everyone. We are getting into the third session. So, if you recall, by the recordings or if you attended live, the first was on, the syllabus, what is data? The second was on big data. Okay, to cut us long story short. So, how data is cleansed, data warehouse, difference between a data lake and a data warehouse. So all these things we sort of covered. Now, this paper is on, at the end, it's about data analytics in L&D. So we'll come to L&D, but to get there, we need to cover a lot of ground in terms of data, big data, and today's analytics. So can someone tell me the difference between analytics and statistics? Because earlier statistics used to work. Now no longer. Why is analytics become so important? And statistics is there only in the school books. Or people do an MStat or they do a lot of things. A lot of projects are done. But why is analytics overtaken statistics?
No ideas.
Okay, thank you, Sudarshan. So statistics is about, measures of central tendency, like mean, median, mode. And it also talks of measures of dispersion, like standard deviation range. So let's say in a class there are 40 children or 30 children. Now they get in physics out of 100, somebody gets 70, somebody gets 85, somebody gets 62. So if you average, that becomes a mean. Uh, let's say class after class, 2002, 2003, batches which have passed out. So people can find a trend, okay, of the mean. And some classes are good, some classes aren't so good. Like you find in school, some batches, some diploma batches. Here it cannot be sort of translated into that. But the point is that we measure a average and we also do a median and a mode. Whereas analytics is slightly more online. It's live. Okay, you get live data. And like you saw yesterday, your KKR was playing Royal Challengers Bangalore. Virat Kohli batted very well. So KKR lost. Now, in that match, they could show all the statistics. They're showing all the analytics of Virat Kohli when he was scoring 50 runs. So that is the kamal of, that is the, the feat of analytics. Whereas statistics can give you that he's done so many half centuries in IPL, in ODI, etc. So statistics is slightly static, whereas analytics is, it's online, alive. Okay, so these are the things to be kept in mind. And as we step into analytics, anybody who's had a direct, project on analytics or any idea that you had, all of us know roughly what analytics is, but in case you wanted to share something. Okay, let me go a little bit ahead and then maybe you'll feel like sharing. So we are getting into analytics now and I'm going by your study material. Hope you all have the study material with you. It looks like this, and I know that many of you have it. Uh, Something like this. Okay. So do all of you have this book? Because you will need this book for the exam and otherwise also. Let me know if you don't have this book. So we are getting into the third class, which is more on analytics. Okay. So now, so this is the formal definition of analytics, the process of collating, sorting, processing, and studying business data. What sort of data will you get in business? Can you just give me or write on the chat? What is the data that you normally would get in business? So all of us are working, all of us, in business, there's a lot of data generated. Okay, I see one response. You can also come on voice. We are a very small class. Just a few of us. So the metrics, sales and revenue, thank you. Yeah, we get metrics. So Sudhakar, what metrics? I mean, like, sales and revenue is one data point. So somebody who's in operations, he'll get number of items.
So metrics in terms of if you have a productivity and if people are not performing, so you'll be having some, the dispatch metrics, the productivity metrics. Like that.
Correct. Thank you so much. And I can see iPhone, but I'm not getting the name. But I think the answers were all very correct, like attendance. Okay. Thank you so much. Turnaround time. So all these, and very rightly, there are so many data that we have. Okay. Point of sale delivery. How many sold? So marketing would have a set of data. Operations would have a set of data. Some would be across, I mean, it would be sitting across many uh, lines of business. Some would be finance data, profit, working capital, cash, etc., which finance will, some will interest operations people. And we need this daily. Now, these are being used in a statistical model, an iterative methodology, because something works, something doesn't work. Now, these data need to give me business insights. For example, if attendance is going down, then I know that people are not happy with it or they're not interested. If, let's say, if you go to a mall and there's a footfall, like today, Sunday evening, there'll be a crowd all over India. Okay, in the metro cities or B class city, C class city, Sunday evening, I think nobody is, people are mostly free. So malls know that this is the time they'll come for a movie or to buy something. So that they're extra, I mean, a holiday for all of us, but not for them. So we turn them into business insights. So we can say that during a weekend, during a Sunday evening, there would be maximum. Similarly, let's say when do air conditioners sell more? You know that it sells at the height of summer. So certain insights which are very, I mean, commonsensical can be made. Certain very astounding insights can also be made, which we don't see normally. So that is about, you know, this part on analytics. Now, okay, ask the following question. Now, this is where it begins. What happened? What did the data tell us? Why did a certain event take place? For example, there was a huge sale. So, if you look at stock markets, immediately after Donald Trump came in, there was the market started going down, etc. I mean, there are certain events which will trigger some events. Why did it happen? What are the sources of problems? Will the same event take place? So what I'm getting at is the moment you get into analytics, you can sort of say what is historically happened, and then you can predict and you can also preempt. And then you can also make things happen your way. So I'll mention the model which is there in Gartner, which is there in your chapter 2. So will the problem recur? Are there any noticeable patterns of the problem? What will happen if we change what we used to do? How can we deal with a recurring problem? Okay, so these are questions which analytics can only answer. This cannot be answered by statistics. Statistics, you'll have a trend. Okay, but let's say what is the value the change will bring? This can only be done by using analytical models. Okay, so what is the goal? I mean, coming down, the goal of business analytics, and here we are talking business, we'll shortly get into HR and then we'll get into L&D, where we actually want to go. So you gain insights into business. Now, because all companies or services at the end, unless there are consumers or people pump you with money, you cannot run a business. So whether it's a public sector, a private sector, any company, NGO, they will need finance. So initially, analytics became very popular with marketing people because they knew customer behavior. That when will a customer buy? For example, if you go to the market, which do you think is the busiest time during the day when people go to the market? Okay, just give me a chat response. Which is the time of the day when people would largely go to the market? Many people don't go to the market, they all do online. But if let's say they're going out, what would be that time? For people who don't have time, they'll obviously order things in line. And it also improves predictability. You know that this material will be picked up. You can also identify risk. Okay, I'm improving the effectiveness. I'm leaving for the moment. Yeah, it definitely enhances operating efficiency. So you can understand what is in the mind of the consumer if your analytics is well used. Okay. Okay, we have nearly 13 people now, so welcome everyone. So here is the thing. So you have big raw data, then you cleanse. Remember what is the process that we said last time? Can somebody remember? How do we cleanse data? What is that process known as? It is just 3 letters. Can you give me the 3 letters? Anybody with just common sense will do. A little, not common sense, a little study also. If you have had a chance to glance to the book, how do we cleanse data? What is the process known as? Okay, this is known as ETL. Okay, for once, I'm giving you extract. Let me write it here. Turnaround time. Joined as a guest open. So we have extract, transform, and load. So when you cleanse the data, because data comes with a lot of, some data is not clean. Then you have prepared data. So you are discretizing, normalizing the data, transforming. Then you are using pattern recognition. So it's made very simple, but the diagram is powerful because this leads to a knowledge discovery. So let's say you're seeing that sale is maximum during a holiday period. For example, during Christmas. For example, during when we have a Diwali or when we have, let's say, Eid. So there'll be a lot of buying during these times. So this, now it doesn't require rocket science to know this. Many people know, and it is also linked with your salary cycle. For example, people are more prone to be happier during the first few days of the month. Now, some people may be eternally happy, but once you know that you have done all your EMIs, you have done all your, then you are not so happy. So maybe many things can be determined from data. But the important learning part is ETL. How do you cleanse data? That was my only question to you. Now we do business analytics and business intelligence. So a little bit of differentiation between the two. Generally implemented with the goal of identifying actionable data. Business intelligence is descriptive, which means that historically what has happened. For example, there has been so much of sales of this product or service. People have stayed in this hotel on so many room nights or the metrics which they use. Focusing on the strategies and tools to identify, acquire, report on past or current events. So this is past. Analytics is more future oriented. It's more prescriptive that, okay, this has happened in the last quarter. This will happen in this quarter, likely to happen. Patterns can be recognized, models developed to clarify past events, create predictions for future events also. For example, IBM used to have a model. How many people, when do people leave a company? Which is the time when people mostly leave a company? Can you tell me, like, people buy ceiling fan during summer or a AC cooler or a Rasna. People like all those cool things during summer, and summer is setting into India. Now you will see a rise in sharbat, all the cold drinks, etc. Now, when do people leave a job? Which is the time when people are likely to leave a job? Which would be that part of the year? Can you make a guess?
Maybe before school starts,
Maybe before school starts. Okay, what would be the month?
or maybe the summer holidays, April, May types. The reason being they don't want to upset the apple cart while their children are in process of education. So don't make a change at that time.
Great answer. Thank you so much. I think I should give you an applause. You gave a good try, Leo. And okay, normally it's statistically found if your business cycle is January to December, like multinationals, people will leave between November to February. Now, many people who go for a higher salary, they will leave. And many people who know that they can't make their numbers, the company might ask them to leave. They will leave by during that time. So just before the appraisal, just before Indian Republic Day. If it's a Indian company which has a, like 31st, 1st April to, now all of you may be very busy. Maybe that is one reason why attendance today is short, because people are busy closing and many people are working. So if it's an April to March cycle, then as rightly Leo says that people will wait for the school season to get over and then they'll jump the gun. So you can model. What I mean to say is, just by that example, anything you can put a model, this statistical model, which analysts are good at. So that is the job of a business analyst, whereas BI is, it will just give you dumb data that this has happened. Okay. Now, what is the objectives of analytics? I think we discussed in a slide before, to accurately predict future events. Okay. Now how accurately we can do, I think it's now become very, very, for example, if you look at weather forecasts, it's become more or less, except for earthquakes. I think everything is the weather company. I mean, they have gamed it. More or less rain will happen. Unless, like earlier, whenever the Met Office used to say rains will come, rains will not come. So that situation has changed 10 years ago or 15 years ago. Related to consumer action, okay. It all started with what is the propensity of people to buy. Like I said, when will people buy? People will usually buy after office, after their work is over, usually in the evening. If you go during a day, you may not find too many people if it's a working day. If it's a holiday or a weekend, you will find. To recommend steps, okay. So now we are going into prescriptive. Now, where in your book is given this? Let me just point to that page in book. If you follow the book, which has been given by ISTT to you, you will see that there's just give me a minute, introduction to your chapter 2, benefits and challenges, just one sec, big data, yeah. Technology impact. I'm just trying to find out the page. Okay, if you have just 8 step, yeah.
The page 30.
Page 30, thank you so much. Yeah, page 34, in fact. What is there in page 30? Let me see. Okay, benefits and challenges. No. Sorry, who was the one who said page 30? Leo. So
Yes,
in page, I find it in page 34. Can you check page 34? So there's a Gartner model, okay, which says, if you look at page 34, figure 2.2, it says descriptive analytics, okay, which is hindsight, followed by diagnostic, followed by predictive, followed by prescriptive, meaning that how we can make it happen. So this is important from an exam point of view. This is a Gartner, a Gartner collateral, which has been put into your study material. Now, what do I mean by this slide? Optimization can identify best case scenarios and next best actions by including engaging simulation techniques. For example, like I said, when will sales be peak? When will inventory, we all stocks. So inventory stocking, shipping out, anything that will impact, there is a money impact, because the moment you're stocking inventory, you're having a holding cost or a carrying cost, and you're also procurement cost. Anybody who's just aware of, supply chain. So you cannot keep too many things on the shelf in a mall, in a store. One is that if it doesn't move off the shelf, it will perish or become bad if it's slightly, sensitive. The other is that it's blocking a lot of space. Prime opportunity windows for sales, promotions, new products. So there are times when people, as rightly said, by Leo, that when will people leave in the period between April, May, when the academic year gets over. So similarly, for marketers, they look at which is the best period when I can sell my stuff, and when will people buy. Descriptive I already, so this is, page 34. Did you find anything in page 34, Leo? Or anyone who can go to page 34 of the workbook?
yes, sir, they are there.
Okay. So it says that descriptive. So describes or summarizes the business exit to get a picture. So I've said the descriptive is mainly historical. So that can be done by statistics. You don't need analytics for that. Now, the moment I say diagnostic, that why did it happen? Here it requires a little bit of an insight. For example, stock markets fell, maybe because of some international event like a Russia-Ukraine war or something which is nearer home, etc. So diagnostic would be to determine which factors influence trends, users' probabilities. So it will try to find out whether you call it a root cause analysis or whichever way, it will find that why did this event happen. Okay, now once that is known, you can predict. So you can say, for example, customer churn. What is customer churn? Can somebody tell me what's a customer churn? We know of employee churn. What is a customer churn?
Typically, customers moving out for a newer model which is coming to the market after a product life cycle has come to a close, or product life cycle is coming close to its close. So we can predict that a particular newer variant will now attract a certain set, not necessarily all, but a certain set of customers whose applications are all based on that new profile of the product. At least this is what we have been talking about it till now. I hope I'm in the correct direction.
You are bang on the correct. Leo, where do you work in IT or
No, sir. I'm in capital equipment. We deal with trucks and construction equipment.
great? So customer churn is people who are leaving you. Okay, as simple as that. Employee churn is when people, so as Leo rightly said, that when will people move away because they have got something better. So that is, you can predict. Stock outs you can anticipate. Now we have a EOQ model that, we have a formula. If you remember your supply chain, if you have done this, so root of 2 into annual demand into procurement cost divided by carrying cost. So there used to be a EOQ model that this is the amount of stock I'll have optimally. Now there are many assumptions that my stock will go linearly every day. 5 people will buy this. If I order a reorder point, it'll every day have that lead time. Now, in a dynamic world, all this does not hold good, may not hold good. So, especially in terms of heavy use. For example, during a festival time, people will buy more. So, or during a religious event, people will buy certain things more. So, you can more or less predict that this will go out of stock. Market trends, including those entirely online as well as patterns. So, the word which keeps on repeating is pattern. You can find a business pattern, and going up to the next step, which is actually prescriptive, which means that, okay, now you are making things happen, you are becoming a consultant. So you're saying that, look, I have seen that this is how your store or your shop or your hotel looks like. These will be or your hospital, whichever is the industry. Like today, if you look at movies, movies are very fragmented. You can do OTT. Very few people. The other day, I saw a movie called Diplomat, just the day after Holi. There were only 6 people in the hall. It was a 9:15 to 12 o'clock movie. So my son brought a ticket. He said, Baba, this will be cheapest. I said, the movie is good. So I didn't mind going in the morning, but I saw only 6 people. Now, is it maximum value for money that to run a show with 6 people? Maybe in the evening it will run. So what I mean to say is, in a prescriptive world, you can more or less give a prescription that this, given that I have found so much of historical data, given that I have predicted this will happen. Okay, strive key to effective emergence of deep learning. So this is slightly more serious because you are actually pontificating that this should be the way you go. So this covers your page 34. It's an important diagram and a metric for many points of view, especially in analytics. I think this is one model. If you can just retain in your memory, or if it comes naturally, it would be a good thing to happen. Okay, I'm not getting into the, again, now this was what I meant. If you look into this part, ETL, this was what I was saying. To get clean data, you need to extract, transform, and then load. And then people run a query, they get the data they want. So I think we covered this a little the last day. So whether you have a data mart where all the data comes in, so browsing data, census, demographic data, which gender buys this more, which age group buys, and then slowly you start cleansing that data. And you go through the ETL process and you run a query that, like in HR, how many people during October to December did a course on artificial intelligence in South Korea. So if I put all the prompts, I'll get a right answer. And now with AI, things have become dramatically different, but still the good old system of, extract, transform, and load remains. Okay. I think this is one slide which is good because it more or less covers all the things in a one stage. So if you look at the maturity level dimension, descriptive would be at stage 1, diagnostic would be at stage 2, predictive would be at stage 3, prescriptive at 4, and preemptive is, okay, this is one level even more, that you're preempting things, that this will happen. Prescriptive is what you want to make it happen. Preemptive is you are actually giving sort of a, what is the good word? You are becoming an astrologer. You are saying that this will happen. Key questions, what happened? Diagnostic, why did it happen? Predictive, what will happen? Prescriptive, I think this is most important. How can we make it happen? Fifth, Preemptive is what can we do more to make it happen. Okay, for example, you want to increase your sales or you want to increase your, you want to cut costs. So how can you make it happen? So you'll say, I'll outsource or I'll not keep so many employees. Salaries are burden. But then they have to be paid, the outsourced employees. So one has to judge very clearly that which is the direction I want to go if I'm to cut costs. Is it about cutting people? Is it about making many processes redundant? So these are difficult questions. Degree of complexity, low, because it's historical, all the data is there. Diagnostic, medium, because there has to be some brain work. Predictive, somewhat high, because you are getting into a zone which you don't know. Nobody has seen what will happen tomorrow. Prescriptive, for example, COVID. Okay. Or even earthquakes today, people cannot predict. Prescriptive, high, and preemptive is very, very high, because you are actually trying a model or to say that this should happen at this time in 2026. Focus, hindsight, insight, foresight. Okay, these are words of play. Potential tools. This is important. Potential tools will use statistics. If you see descriptive, it's about mean, median, mode, range, and dispersion. Mean, median, mode we'll learn later. It's measures of central tendency. Dispersion and range is how, you know, like I said, if there are 40 children in a class doing physics, so one who gets 10 and one who gets 90, then it's a huge range of class. Maybe the class has to be rethought whether everybody should be in the same class. So it gives a lot of message. If let's say one student gets very low and one student gets very high, then I think one needs to say that, okay, the lower ones do not merit to be in this class. Or if everybody gets a very high mark, then also there's a problem. Okay. Diagnostic, fishbone or Ishikawa, people do a root cause analysis, like you see in this slide. Predictive, what are the tools used? You can use CPFR, agent-based forecast, traditional forecasting method like the Delphi technique, Markov's principle. I'm not getting into those because, you know, it complicates, but there are tools which you can predict. For example, how many people will be promoted? Now, HR sort of knows. Marketing event, they also, how much, how many, you know, products will or services will go off the shelf. Now, the moment I go into prescriptive and preemptive, I have to use a little bit of IT. It's a simulation on neural networks. Now, I'm not getting into this, but it is important to know that if I play across the whole range, the questions are different if the dimensions are different. Any questions on this one before I go further?
No, sir.
Okay, so take that as an assurance that everything is fine and hunky-dory. So I move on to the next one. Okay, these are tools. We don't need to know these tools. So business analytics tools like, okay, Metabase. So no need of, unless one is, you know, very passionate. So I have given an example. You can search for yourself. So it's a basic open source. Zeppelin is by Apache product. Omnisci, okay. Popular tools with cockpit allows 3D charts. So now things have also changed, and these have had different versions. So these are BA tools, business analytics tools. Okay, I'll present some use cases in the sense that how is analytics used. So Royal Dutch Company implemented predictive maintenance. So for example, when I was in BHL, we used to have residual life. Let me write it here. Can somebody tell me what is residual life? We used to call it RLA. Can somebody tell me what is the residual life analysis?
Is it to do with the use life after this factor of safety has been removed? For example, transformers.
Yeah,
Is it
transformers and then
Typically you will have a factor of safety which will have so many number of hours. Let us say the accepted factor of safety would be if it is designed for 120 hours or maybe 1200 hours, and the factor of safety is roughly 80%. So that means you would do maybe about 90 hours or 900 hours depending upon the design. And after the factor of safety has been completed, you still have a perfectly good functional life in that equipment, and that's the residual life which you get after the FOS has been crossed and the life has been completed of that equipment. Or for example, now Voyager, the spacecraft is out in space way after its actual life has been completed, and on residual life they're still running almost 20 years after the original has been completed. Is that what you mean?
Excellent. I think you're bang on. So we used to do it for power plants, Leo. I mean, like you gave the example of Voyager. So power plants, boilers, how long will it last? So all these power plants which were built after the Nehruvian era, let's say, Indian power plants, whether you talk of south in Kothagudam, in the north Singrauli, or uh, down in east, let's say Farakka or Korba, Talcher. So these were all, around 1957, 60, 61. Now, when I joined industry around 84, 25 years is the life you give to a power plant. And if you run it, in a bad way, if you start, stop, then the thing will die soon. So we used to do boiler tube analysis, scrape, the metallurgy and find out how much life is left in the residual life. So, I mean, not that it didn't used to be done, like Leo says, so what is and if you have a factor of safety, he gave a very good example. So what I meant to say is that Shell had a predictive life, that this will last so long. And given that you operate it with due care, as is given in the manual, so predictive maintenance driven by AI to cut down on lost time failure. So why do we do maintenance? Because we don't want downtime because the machine goes out. So they did compressors, valves, and reducing risk from drilling platform to the gas pump. So Shell is one case. I will show a video of something which might be more better than my talk. But I encourage you to find out uses where people have used analytics to find out. And historically predictive maintenance, as Leo says, I mean, what is the life left after the guarantee period? Usually, like, an expired medicine, it will still have life, though people say that don't have it. But ideally, it should have life if there has been a factor of safety. Not that I'm propagating that have medicines which has crossed their due date. Okay, then there's a pit Ohio supply chain. So supply chain again is very much dependent on, uptake at the top, how people purchase, that will depend. Ideally, one shouldn't have zero inventory, that I'll stock nothing. But in a manufacturing place, usually you have to keep something there. So, I mean, at the end, bottom line is customer churn reduction equal retained revenues of $60,000 per year. They started earning. They could estimate delivery times in a better way. They used predictive analytics so that their supply chain was bolstered and they could keep their process. Okay, down here, home, Axis Bank. Now, I don't know how is Axis Bank doing now. There was a rumor about Axis Bank. Anybody who's aware? In the recent past, there was some news. Axis Bank was in the news.
Many rumors.
Yeah, many rumors. Okay, Dr. Deepthi Arora, what is the rumor?
I don't know about the recent past, but I know about something in the year 2008-9 when UTI was converted to Axis overnight because of the brand value and all something like that.
Right. So it's been in the news. So it's the third largest private sector. Now it actually did a lot of segmented audience to prevent customer churn because there are so many private players which are operating in the market. Okay, I'm cutting out this online analytical processing. It will there as a reading material because we are not doing a querying here. Colab is one tool that we have, and typical, okay. So query, or like in AI today, you know what is a prompt. In ChatGPT, you say, give me 3 MCQ questions. So immediately it will give. Similarly, in days of earlier days, people used to write queries. So write a multi-table join, okay, to compare sales for each product year versus year. So people say year on year, how's been. So people will show. So that can be done by a query to find top 5 product contributors. So if I look at which would be my main revenue earners, which of the products, and it gives, this is more of an exercise. Rapid growth, not really important. Slightly historical also. Suffice to know, it's a powerful visualization paradigm, provides fast interactive response time, good for analyzing time series data. Many vendors offer. Okay, so many, these are players which play in this area. I think we discussed difference between data scientist and data analyst. So activity 1 is business intelligence. So at the end, I mean, what happens is that you have a lot of business intelligence. You know a lot of things because you have invested in predictive analytics. Analysis 2.0, okay, the end of era of big data, the need for powerful new tools, opportunity to profit by providing them quickly becomes apparent. And 3 is data enriched offerings. So we have named all these fancy names. Analytics 1.0, 1.2, 1.3. Today it's not just information. So if you have the ability to, then you will get a lot of things. Let me finally come before I just show a few videos, and then we'll open it up for your conversations, questions, presentations, what have you. So can we? So 10 requirements. One is multiple types of data often combined, like Schneider does, and many companies. I mean, these are slightly out of context. A new set of data management, faster technologies, embedded analytics, data discovery. Now, these days, we also have a CAO. I have seen this in Manyavar. There's a company which is based out of here, Calcutta, where so there was a consulting opportunity where they have a CAO. In your company, any of the companies, do you have a CAO? Like you have a CEO, CFO, or any relative of a CEO?
You're saying COO?
CEO is the guy who is the chief operating officer. I'm saying chief analytics officer.
Yep. So in my organization, sir, we do have a dedicated analytics team, and there we have a centralized analytics team. And I'm really not sure like if we have a CA position, but yeah, central analytics team is definitely there.
Okay. Thank you, Jugal. And which is the organization? I mean, which sector is it?
This is e-commerce. So I am in
It's on
Flipkart.
e-commerce.
Yep.
So e-commerce is heavily dependent on. So that team is very powerful.
Correct.
Thank you so much. I was actually looking for such a guy. And okay, CEO, at one time it was very on. Now maybe there are other things which have taken importance. Prescriptive we discussed. New ways of discovering. Okay. IBM video. And let me just show you one video where you can see a little bit. It will also cut out the talk, which I am doing. So how analytics is used. I think both are marketing. One has a little HR example. So I chose these two. There could be better ones also. Just give me a moment. Any questions before we go to the videos? Jugal, do you have any questions?
I think I will watch the video first and then probably I will ask.
Okay. And do you have the book with you?
Yeah, I do have the study material.
Good. So now the book will come into use because slowly we are,
Correct.
progressing with the course. So let me just give you the video. Just one second. And thank you so much for coming on camera.
Thank you.
Okay, let me put the video on. Hopefully this plays as expected. Yeah.
Video has become a cornerstone of business communication. It educates and entertains, enabling you to tell powerful stories to help differentiate and build your brand. But video content can also be used to inform business decisions and drive more timely action. Think of the video cameras you use in your business today. Are you analyzing that video for insights? Most organizations don't, because manual review of captured video is prohibitively slow, expensive, and incomplete. Using AI and machine learning, IBM Video Analytics can be used to analyze video content more quickly, cost-effectively, and accurately, enabling organizations like yours to uncover insights and make better business decisions. For example, let's take a look at how retailers can use IBM Video Analytics to gain more insights from video content they are already capturing. With demographic insights, retailers can better understand who is shopping when. With queue monitoring, staff can be utilized more effectively while improving customer service. Abandoned carts or out-of-stock items are no longer overlooked. Events that used to mean product and revenue loss can trigger immediate alerts for store staff to take action. With appropriate insights, tripping and slipping hazards can be detected and addressed immediately. With store traffic heat maps, retailers can better understand traffic patterns and optimize product placement to increase revenue. These are just a few examples. IBM Video Analytics works with any existing video systems, and its AI modeling can be tailored for the unique needs of your business or industry. Cameras capture the images, but video analytics capture the value. Get more out of your video content starting today.
Okay, this was sort of promotional in a way, but any thoughts on this?
I think after watching video, I was able to recall this kind of a strategy, like how these people are placing certain products when you enter, let's say DMart or maybe Big Bazaar earlier used to be. So how they are placing everything, and then how colorful the design, or maybe how they are analyzing that. Okay, this is the bay, like where a person is entering, so we can keep all these things to increase the sales and all that.
Great. So it resonates somewhere, like you
Yeah.
showed that tripping,
Correct.
that you don't, and it usually catches your eyeball.
True.
As they're also doing a demographics online. They immediately know whether it's a young adult or an elderly guy, so they'll profile. So let's go ahead a little bit, and then I'll open it up for the presentations that you have. In case, okay, just go to this next video.
Video has become a cornerstone of business communication. It educates and entertains, enabling you to tell powerful stories to help differentiate and build your brand.
So here we are. Okay, let's watch one more. Okay, and then I think, yeah. Just a minute, we'll come to the next one a bit later. So, okay, this is a, I'll send this paper over, IBM Institute for Business Value. It's at slightly at a, at a level for people who are deep into analytics. So how analytics can most effectively drive business value when set within an iterative. So one is prime the field, okay, get the variable data. Second is ease their pain. Now here, there means the client. It is more meant for a client presentation. Three is, go with the stakeholder. Four is expect improvements. So it says achieving a yield of dreams, which means maybe the customer will come with a problem that, look, this is what is happening. Or a bank will come with, for example, government banks, lot of outage. Okay, if you go, link is down. Like I go to an Indian bank and I see people sometimes waiting that now they cannot be any, they're waiting for nothing online will happen because the link is down. So, which creates a lot of downtime. So here it's based on various clients, they have made this presentation. So I'm not getting into this deep. So there are just 4 steps: prime the field, ease their pain, go the distance, and expect improvements. Okay. This is a video on Starbucks, how they use big data to beat a competitor. So if you are interested to see, I'll share. Is it okay to see how Starbucks does? Just give me a, a yes or a no, then I know.
Yes, please.
Okay, let's see if this, there's a little overburden. I'll cut out the part where they do some talk.
Have you ever thought there's got to be a better and simpler way to learn organizational strategies? 5 Minutes Learning has a global and diverse collection of case studies to help management students. Click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to stay updated with our upcoming and interesting case studies. Starbucks doesn't just sell beverages all over the world. It also collects a lot of data from over 100 million transactions per week. What does it do with this information? And how do artificial intelligence and the Internet of Things play a role in this? Regardless of the size of your company, Starbucks can be a great example of how to use data and modern technology to gain a competitive advantage. For example, it is a pioneer in combining loyalty systems, payment cards, and mobile apps. But that is only the tip of the iceberg. This video highlights 5 of the most interesting examples of how Starbucks uses data, artificial intelligence, and IoT to gain a competitive advantage. Starbucks may no longer be a coffee company, but rather a data technology company for food and beverages.
Introducing Locify.ai, a developer platform that leverages design to code AI to accelerate front-end development.
It's no secret that Starbucks is a data-driven company. It operates over 30,000 stores worldwide and processes nearly 100 million transactions per week. This provides it with an in-depth understanding of what its customers consume and enjoy. It may surprise you to learn that Starbucks only started focusing on data value a little more than a decade ago. It wasn't that it hadn't used data before. A crisis prompted the company's transformation, as with many major changes. In this case, the change was prompted by the 2008 financial blip and subsequent store closures. This taught Howard Schultz, then CEO of Starbucks, that data should be used more analytically. Prior to that, Starbucks, like many other organizations, made decisions based on experience and judgment. Choosing the right location is critical to success in retail. In 2007 and 2008, Starbucks CEO, Howard Schultz, was forced to come out of retirement to close hundreds of stores, and rethink the company's strategic growth plan. This time, Starbucks took a more disciplined, data-driven approach to store openings. The company can choose the most strategic location for its new stores by using location-based analytics powered by Atlas, a mapping and business intelligence tool developed by Esri. Before recommending a new store location, Starbucks evaluates massive amounts of data, including variables such as population, income levels, traffic, competitor presence, and proximity to other Starbucks locations. Using this information, the company can forecast revenues, profits, and other aspects of economic performance for that location. The software is also assisting in determining where the next 1,500 plus stores should be located, which will not only help the company expand, but will also drive revenue for new store developments. Starbucks used the gathered data to determine which products to offer when launching new products. In particular, when expanding its product lines into grocery stores, the company heavily relies on the data gathered. According to a study, 43% of tea drinkers avoid adding sugar. Starbucks created a new product line of unsweetened iced teas to cater to this market. Also, after discovering that 25% of consumers do not add milk to their coffee, the company launched a new line of black iced coffee without milk. These menu enhancements and grocery store product launches are not only just providing customers with their favorite products, they're also about convincing their customers to avoid other coffee brands while at home. It's a market share grab strategy that's been hugely successful. It's a way for Starbucks to take a retail brand and bring it into consumers' homes. When Starbucks launched its rewards program and mobile app, its data collection increased significantly. This allowed them to get to know their customers and extract information about their purchasing habits. Using its mobile app, Starbucks collects data about what, where, and when its members purchase coffee. Starbucks uses the Digital Flywheel program, a cloud-based artificial intelligence engine capable of making precise food and beverage recommendations.
Introducing Locify.ai, a developer platform that leverages design-to-code AI to accelerate.
As a result, even when people visit a new Starbucks location, the store's point-of-sale system can identify the customer through their phone and give the barista their preferred order. Starbucks could also suggest new products a customer might like based on their purchase history, as well as provide unique discounts and rewards on specific items based on their unique preferences. Starbucks went one step further by collecting data on weather patterns and their relationship with customer order patterns. This enables the company to provide even more personalized experiences and promotions, such as delivering cold drinks to a customer on hot days. One implication of the preceding examples is that Starbucks can constantly refine and adjust its offerings. Starbucks' data-driven approach allows it to make changes based on customers, location, and time. This has an impact on products, promotions, and pricing. However, if your in-store offerings are displayed on printed menu boards above the counter, there is a disconnect with the ability to constantly adjust things. This is one of the reasons why retailers continue to favor low-tech solutions such as blackboards. Starbucks, on the other hand, sees the solution as a rollout of digital signage in stores, with computer-generated menu displays. This completes a chain that allows changes in the customer experience to be reflected in the store. Obviously, this raises a slew of questions, and there's plenty of room for things to get complicated. However, as of mid-2018, Starbucks was only testing this in a few locations. It concentrated its efforts on promoting specific products based on local factors such as weather or time of day.
Okay, I'm just stopping this for the simple that they have taken 5 dimensions. So any thoughts on Starbucks, that did they make good use of the analytics? And what are the 5 areas they could hit at? One was organization development. One was dynamic menus, the first and the fifth. What else? They did very well.
I guess I think for the new product launch also they did a good study.
They did good, and they have continuously changed over the years. They have kept moving.
Correct.
So I think Starbucks is one good example of something that many young people like. I mean, many people like. Why only young? It's a good place to hang out. So I think we'll go to your part. If there's any team, this was supposed to be done on March 9th. We had one presentation from one team, which I think is Bhakti's team, the team Blue. They gave on education. Is there any team who can present something on mining or on aviation or anything that you have worked on? That was the first day. I think last time we had one team which was ready, but then we ran out of time. So today we have the time. Okay, or we can just have a discussion on it. Maybe that will be better. So if let's say again, let me go to metrics. So Leo, on to you. So for example, if you are to collect metrics for aviation, so what would be the key metrics?
San, first and foremost, my apologies because I've missed the earlier sessions. So I'm not entirely aware of the discussion on that part. But however, a shot in the dark would be if I were to collect metrics for aviation, I would assume differences of short haul, long haul flights, the kind of differentiation which on demographics on who takes those kind of flights, cultural differences also with regard to the, without wanting to sound racist, the categories of people who fly to different areas. Those were the kind of things that come to the top of my mind. I'm sorry if I'm off the mark.
No, you are on the mark. So the first exercise, and maybe you missed those classes. So one is, how do we get data? How do we, get some more data? So we had made 4 teams, the long and short of it. So there was a yellow team which was tasked with aviation. One team, green team, was with healthcare. So basically, how to estimate the data landscape, and there are so many data from hospitals, gyms, plus people now. Healthcare is doing a backward and forward integration. So much is getting into healthcare. Team Blue did a presentation, and Team Red is on mining, which is again a field which is there's a criticality because how much mining will be allowed, etc. So these are one. The idea was to approach the second day, and this was the team. I think I had seen Prince today for the red team. So Prince and Bhakti. Bhakti did. Joe, Shubham team, I remember. Karishma, Pragya, Ajay, anything on this or the next one would be welcome. And I do not see the yellow team today. So this was an approach to data. If you did it, fine. If you did, it's good to just have a quick conversation and close out. That could be one way. So Prince, since you're there, anything that you could What was your team? The red team, and red team was given mining. Okay. So did you make any headway with your team members? Okay, I don't see Prince now.
Sir,
Yeah.
I'm in green.
You're in green team. Okay.
Please add my name there.
Oh, your name is there. So green
Yes.
team was tasked with what was your industry? Let me just check,
I think
Dr.
healthcare.
Deepti. It was on healthcare. Okay. So
Not
healthcare is a
on
nice, I mean, I don't like healthcare, but
Mhm.
as a personally, but any idea that how would you collect data or where would you go?
So give me a minute, sir. I'm just owning my laptop. I made the
Okay.
presentation also.
Oh, wow. Very good. Then we'll have your presentation.
1 minute, because my problem is my official laptop doesn't have Zoom support.
Okay. Can you pass it on to Gurvinder on chat?
No, sir. WhatsApp also is like banned. I can
Where do
mail
you work,
someone.
Dr. DC? I mean, this is a company laptop you're using.
Yeah, yeah, actually, unfortunately.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
what I can do is, meanwhile, if someone is ready, let them just take over. I'll just try to connect through
Sure.
Chrome on instead of app. I'll just try to
Yeah. Or
connect
you
through
could
Chrome.
mail me, I could present on your behalf, whichever is. I'm sharing my mail ID, or you could
Sure.
give Gurvinder. That would be, I think, a better way. But in case you want to, but thank you so much for, being ready today. You are a sincere student. So my compliments. Okay. So in case you want to just mail it here, I'll do it by
Yes,
3:30.
sir.
And
1 minute.
let me go on to the next. The other thing which we gave in the last day was on a balanced scorecard. Okay, so now this was slightly, I mean, the first one was very generic. Like, Leo could also answer this. It was so generic. The second one was, okay, we didn't have this class on March 16 because of Holi. So today we are having, now here the exercise was to hit on the right metrics on the industry you work in the first place. So ideally, I mean, healthcare, aviation, and the things, education, and I think pharma. Now, in each of these areas, there are 4 teams, and this was based on a balanced scorecard designed by a management guru called Norton and Kaplan. So he said that historically, people used to look at financial data. So where will I put my money on? I'll look whether this stock is good, whether the company is stable. So I'll put my money on Reliance and Adani, let's say. Okay, I may put on other companies also.
Sir, I
Then,
mailed it.
you read, oh, you mailed it. Wow,
Yes, sir.
you are amazing. You are amazing. Dipti madam, where do you work?
Sir, I'm working Daimler India Commercial Vehicles.
Sorry, one more time if you could tell me.
I work in DICV, Daimler India Commercial. Bharat Benz.
Benz, okay. Daimler Benz, okay.
Yes.
Wow. So you're into cars.
No, sir. I'm into commercial vehicles, trucks and
Commercial
vehicles.
vehicles, okay. Automobiles, yeah. Thank you so much for mailing me. I'm just opening up her presentation and Dr. Deepthi will speak to us.
I made it as per my understanding.
You did
So
a good job. You could mail me within this short period. These are all, small little tokens which I see. That how active or how reactive people are. So you have been proactive. You are waiting for this presentation. I think it's a heavy one. 190.9. Okay. Since I'm
okay.
presenting, it's taking some time. Just a minute. Opening up slowly. Yes. It's opened up. It's opened up. Okay. 7 slides.
Yes.
Let me write your name. You have been a
It's there.
humble person. You should write your name. Okay.
It's there, no?
And you are the only performing member of your team.
No, sir, they are also performing. I think they are occupied with something. It's okay.
Wow.
Many times I don't do it and they do it.
Okay. No, thank you so
So,
much. So it's a pleasure to have the green team. Please, the moment you want me to change the slide, tell me.
sure. Good afternoon, everyone. So the topic was data collection and organization in healthcare industry. L&D perspective is something that I've taken from, and we'll go to next slide. Our team members you can see. So,
Where are your team members?
um,
Okay, anyway, I know your team members, but let's go on. Is there anybody in the team? Let me just. Who was there in the team, Dr. Deepthi, if you can remember any name?
Mayank, Karishma,
Mayank
Manpreet,
and
Pragya.
Karishma is there in the. Karishma, if you can say hello to us, that would be good. I saw you enter. Okay, let me go ahead, please.
So, when we talk about the first one, it's been taken from two type of data from two perspective. One is L&D perspective. Focus is on clinical and non-clinical workforce training. So three types of training that we focus on. One is mandatory compliance training data, specialized skill development data, and external training and upskilling data. When we talk about the mandatory compliance training data, it's about compliance training. You know what is must do. It's non-negotiable training as per healthcare industry, where we talk about basic life support, advanced cardiovascular life, ACLS that support pediatric advanced life support, then health insurance. OSHA is there, Occupational Safety and Health Administration, infection control prevention, and emergency and disaster preparedness. When you talk about specialized skill development data, so it's more on medical equipment training. When you talk, it is more on diagnostic and surgical training. Any upcoming technology or trend coming up based on that. Then also about pharmacy and drug administration, where again technologically so many things are advancing. So you know, drugs are something where it keeps changing its molecules, and they are combining so that you take less of medicines and all. And soft skills, where you talk about patients' communication, emotional intelligence for caregivers, and many more. When we talk about external training and upskilling data, it's more of continuous medical education credits, medical conferences, university certifications, telemedicines, and digital healthcare certification. So these are the three types of data that would be needed. If I have to talk about the L&D perspective in healthcare industry. But there's also something known as performance perspective. Next slide it is. So when we talk about performance perspective, it's about measuring training impact on healthcare outcomes. So when we talk about that, it's more of patient safety and quality metrics data, clinical efficiency and productivity metrics, and operational and financial performance metrics. Now, these are some types of data. Again, there are much more. The list is really huge, but few of them. When you talk about patient safety and quality metrics, post-training reduction in hospital acquired infections. So again, that is a performance perspective that how healthcare outcomes are improving, compliance with the infection control protocols, hygiene, PPE usage, hand sanitizer, and so on and so forth. You know, gloves and all. Medication administration accuracy and reduction in errors. But when we talk about clinical efficiency and productivity, patient turnaround time from admission to discharge. When we talk about admission, the admission protocols, what is the TAT that they are following, and what should be the TAT that they should follow. When you talk about discharge, again, what is the TAT? Normal discharge, and then we talk about something in Mediclaim. And then again, bifurcating it to which company mediclaim takes more time or less time, because then finding out the error and bringing the processes in place, so that will come into the picture. Emergency response time improvement. If there's an emergency, what is the response, how it goes? Again, this data differs from private hospital to government hospitals to star level hospitals. So diagnostic and treatment accuracy rates. So this is like AI powered training. So what is the treatment accuracy rates are coming? How are you, how far, how well are you diagnosing? Is it like you're nailing it first time, or you're really keep doing reports and tests and all? Operational financial performance is staff retention and engagement post L&D programs, compliance violation reduction, and leadership development and internal succession rates. So in their succession pipeline is very important here, where you identify the critical roles, so that if someone moves out, you have someone to replace it. You don't wait for the, because it's a healthcare industry, it's not about a normal corporate office. It's like you have someone's life on stake. So yeah, going to next slide. When we talk about how do you organize this data, um, so you need employee data when you talk about ID role. Next slide, sir. ID role, because I mean, which role do they play? Tenure, how long they have been. Training details, what program name or mode, and what duration, what score they have got. Then clinical performance metrics, patient outcome, procedure accuracy, infection control, compliance, compliance status, certification expiry, renewal dates, regulatory audits, and feedbacks and evaluation, where you take peer reviews, patient experience scores, and 360-degree assessment. So these are the fields that you need to organize the data. Next slide. So when you talk about data analytics and real-time dashboards in healthcare L&D, types of data been collated, structured data. You can take it from LMS logs, certification records, patient safety audits, unstructured, open-ended survey responses, patient feedback, observational assessments, quantitative, infection rates, error reduction trends, training completion rates, and qualitative can be manager feedback, behavioral assessments, team collaboration. And when we talk about types of analysis and real-time insights, it's more of descriptive analytics, diagnostic analysis, predictive analysis, prescriptive, and impact analysis. So this all are there, which will play different role in different scenarios. Next slide. Real-time dashboard and AI integration is something. AI is everywhere. So I just brought this into picture because it's not about creating a dashboard and doing the mundane work. It's about being smart and really getting into creating the AI integration and making it better. So in healthcare training, effectiveness dashboards can be one. Clinical performance dashboards is one. Compliance risk monitoring dashboards is one. And AI powered learning recommendations is another one. So you, many things can be done. I mean, I don't know how far this is true, but when I was researching for this, I came across an example where in states there's a hospital where in normal hospitals we have people who come and serve the food and all. In that hospital, I don't remember the name of the hospital. They have robots, so serving food and breakfast or anything, taking, if patient needs something, the call button is there. A robot will come and take the orders and then make sure that things are aligned. So yes, AI is empowering and we also have to see how we can make it best for the patient experience score. Next. So these are the references and best practices that I picked up from World Health Organization, Harvard Medical School, and John Hopkins, Institute of Health Improvement, um, McKinsey and Co. Company healthcare reports, and regulatory guidelines. So these are somewhere where I actually read it from, and these are some of the readings where I got some best practices which I spoke in this presentation. And that's it. Thank you so much for hearing me out.
We should give a big applause to Dr. Deepti Arora. It was a very, very great presentation.
Really, thank you.
Yes. I couldn't have presented as well. And if, as you say, if it was by a team, then I really applaud. I mean, the names I had, Karishma, Pragya, Ajay, and Deepti ma'am. Let me write it, your name, but it was very well presented. And let me have a few feedbacks from the team which heard you.
Yes.
I really found it very, very what I exactly wanted, which I mean, in education, we did a good beginning, but I think in healthcare, you really cracked what I wanted, that what are the types of data, what is the data landscape, and you have given references. And this, which you said in US, I had seen this in hotels in Shanghai in 2017. I asked for water, so a robo came up. So 8 years ago.
Wow.
So I think China
So
is
we are really behind.
we are slightly, but great job, as I fully ditto with Leo. And can you tell a little bit about the teamwork? I was just, since Karishma is here, because you made such a great presentation, such crisp, business like, giving references, maybe a little more on OSHA or occupational health, because McKinsey and all is good, but then World Medical or, those are supposedly more, that is the only hole I can pick in your presentation. That though your references are good, a little more of medical IGMA or these bulletins would have lent more, but your metrics are something I didn't know, and no hole to the whole team.
So how it happened is when I actually started segregating the data, it was too many.
It was too many.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm talking about mandatory compliance training, I listed only few of them. There are many. There's a list. Again, it differs which type of specialist, which hospital it is, what specialized it is. So there is few compliance training which is common across, but there are few compliance training which goes from what you call them specialist wise. This vertical wise. And then there are few role wise. But then what I remember was I was not there on the first day. I joined very late. I think I
You
joined
joined late, yeah.
So what I remember, you were saying that you just want a overarching of the kind
Overarching.
of
It was a
data
broad
that
thing.
can be used in this industries.
Right.
No deep diving. So I thought of bringing a overarching, and I thought of bringing from performance and L&D both perspective, because at the end of the day, data analytics will be used in L&D only.
Yeah. No, you directly cut the chase. I was more into, that is where we are leading, but I really must congratulate you and give you a lot of heart signs, okay, because I loved the presentation.
Thank you.
Okay.
And about the when we talk about the teamwork, yes, team also contributed, but it's just that they were not present last time due to some preoccupied commitment.
That I understand.
So that's why they couldn't do it.
Thank you so much. I'm giving the setting the next, the last part of today, and we'll close with this. So a very good presentation on data landscape, but two teams, education, this was better. Okay, I mean, these teams, yellow, green, Joshubam. Green team, give yourselves a name now, since now you did so good a job, and Ramesh ji and, Leo, everybody liked your presentation, including Jugal, I guess. He's been
Thank
there.
you so much.
Now what I'll do is, I will give you a case study, okay? This time it will be slightly different. Refer to an article. It's not a great article, but it gives you article. This is your activity for 30th March. The next day when we meet or congregate, this is what we'll do. We will have this. Now, the purpose is applying analytics in business, pretty much what we saw in Starbucks or IBM. That was more of an advertisement, but anyway. Stable teams to focus on, okay. So the article talks on marketing, supply chain, finance, operations, and HR. So you can choose any one. It's not red, green, blue, yellow, but whichever way you want to. But be in the same teams and just give a 5 minutes presentation on the article. You have not seen the article. The article is I will send it to you through Gurvinder. Okay.
Okay.
So the case study of sorts, an article, and you again group together, take anyone, and if there's an overlap, doesn't matter.
So we're
So
talking about applying analytics in any of one function, is it?
yeah, it looks something like this. Let me, to be clear, just let me bring that one up by Swati. It's an Indian author, one Indian lady. She's written that case. Just a minute. Let me stop this. Yeah, escape. Now I come to that case study. Just a minute. Application operation management. Okay. This is application of business analytics. Okay. It looks something like this. Let me share screen. Very good. So Sunday well spent listening to such a good presentation. Much better than my class. Okay. Applications of business analytics. So this is by Neetu Saxena, Swati John and Pallavi. So this is how the case looks like. And it gives you a view. Primary objective. This is a paper. Okay. So they talk of the Gartner thing pretty much, which was mirrored in Dr. Deepti's presentation, the descriptive, diagnostic. Okay. Then they go into literature review. So it's generic and it goes into methodology. Okay. So then it talks if marketing, gives an example. It talks of HR. Okay. It's slightly dated, but I think our purpose will be served. 2021. I mean, during COVID time, it was written. Financial HR. So whatever you can make of it in the case study, plus add your team's intelligence like Dr. Deepti did, and I think Joe Shubham, that team also did. They were first. So there was a little bit, first, it's always difficult, but they did it. And Google, now she's gone into case studies. Amazon, etc. You can go into anything you like. But just harp on one, whether you choose HR, marketing, operations, supply chain. Like Dr. Deepti, she chose L&D. She chose HR. I mean, by direction, because she knew, or the team knew, that this is the area where ultimately this guy will land up. So I'll land up with HR and L&D. But at this stage, I want you to be as open as possible. Take anything which the team says we will take. Okay, that was my only last thing to be said. And that was it for today. I will send the case study and today's presentation. And a great presentation from the green team. You made the day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye for
I
now.
I just have a question here, Rahul sir.
Please.
The paper already have the analytics parts of all the four functions. So when we pick up, how are we making it different?
When you
We
pick
are
up which
referring
one?
the case. When referring the case, the
Yeah.
assignment says that we have to pick up this function.
Yeah, either HR or operations or supply chain or anything.
Yes, but the case already has those functions.
It
I mean,
has.
the case has the analytics of in marketing and in finance
It has. It
and
has.
in HR.
So what I'm asking you is to go beyond this and
Hmm.
put your brains that okay, this case has given this, but we thought of this.
But we have to limit ourselves to the case, right?
You have to start with the case, you can end anywhere. Yes, the case is the fulcrum. Like for example, she has given this case study. If I go through, it's given examples of many companies, Netflix. So you can expand. I mean, you have enough Ralph Lauren, which is a Barbie. Okay.
Okay.
Well, so the whole paper is slightly longish. So have a read through the paper. What I would suggest is, since I only showed you a part, just read through the paper. If you have any questions, let me know. But it can be as wide as possible, like you did today. For example, I didn't give you any directions for the healthcare, but you came
Right.
up with something. Similar output is expected for the next time.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We'll meet on the
Thank you.
30th of March.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.